Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod. Here's our NBA Finals preview episode. We know as of this past weekend on Saturday that it will be the Indiana Pacers against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals. This is very interesting NBA Finals. I've seen online where people are talking about this being a very small market NBA Finals, and I think that's interesting. I think at that point, we get to see, first off, how passionate these fans are of their teams on when they show up and watch in the ratings, and we also get to see how passionate some of just the true basketball NBA fans are, because again, it's not big market teams. It's not that exciting like, say, Boston, LA, New York, Golden State, something like that. It's not that exciting huge market teams, but I think it's basketball wise, it's going to be a pretty good and interesting NBA Finals, and I think different styles. Both teams have been playing really good defense since the playoffs have begun, and neither team's really lost too much. 4 games for the Thunder, I think 4 games for the Pacers too. Yeah, so 4-4 for each team. That's not bad. So both teams have got to the finals with a 12-4 record. Very interesting. It'll be interesting to see who pulls away early on. I've said it multiple times on here before. I believe how the Pacers play doesn't really give much for like that nerves of being in the NBA Finals. And a lot of these guys, this is their first trip in the NBA Finals. Very young team. Not as young as the Thunder on the opposite side, but still a young team. You do have the experience of Pascal Siakam, a former NBA champion. We'll get to the same thing on Oklahoma's side with their former NBA champion. So I think it works for the Pacers that one of their best 2 players, Siakam and Halliburton. By the way, congratulations, Pascal Siakam, on being Eastern Conference Finals MVP. But I think it works for them that one of their 2 best players is a former NBA champion and he has championship experience. That's a big help. That's a little bit of an upper hand for Indiana. And like I said, their style of play. Picking up 94 feet, I'm not exactly sure. That should be, I mean, it has got you this far for the Pacers. I don't really think that should be as hard of your style as it's been, because I don't think Preston Shea in the backcourt is really all that smart for MVP of the league. I think if you press him in the backcourt, he's going to turn up the speed, he's going to get loose, and he's going to have like a 5-on-4 advantage or 4-on-3 advantage at the basket, and they're going to generate some easy buckets off of that. I would be pressing Shea too much in the backcourt, maybe someone else. Maybe if the ball goes to, like, say, Caruso, Carson Wallace, Jalen Williams, someone like that, I don't believe they have that breakaway speed that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has to create something and get a quick bucket opportunity, like a 4-on-3, 5-on-4, something like that, just where they have numbers. I think that would be very bad for Oklahoma. And then the other thing that I think I would think about if I'm the Pacers is double teaming Shai. Double teaming Shai when he crosses half court. Don't press him before. When he crosses half court, double team, try to get the ball out of his hands, make someone else beat you. We're seeing Oklahoma being dangerous when Shai is the one controlling the game, getting everybody involved, getting his own points. We're seeing Oklahoma being very dangerous and tough to beat. I almost would make someone else that's not Shai beat me throughout the whole series. Just try to get the ball out of his hands as much as possible. I think that would be the best idea if I'm the Pacers. And with them rotating guys, I believe you can do that, because I think you have enough speed and enough quickness to double when he passes, get back, before you really get burned by that. So I will let Shai beat me, but you want to, it's a filling out process. As I mentioned, Oklahoma City Thunder, youngest team, youngest team in the finals since 1955, I believe they said. So that's, it's good for energy, but it's not good as in how do you handle this pressure? How do you handle the moment, the NBA Finals, in the Norths and this and that. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that. On the flip side, as I was going to mention, Oklahoma City Thunder, they have Alex Caruso. He's former NBA champion. He's been there before. He is not as big of a piece to the Thunder as Pascal is to the Pacers, so I think that's where the Pacers have a little bit of an advantage. But Alex Caruso was a pretty big part of that Lakers championship team. He did play really well alongside LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Rajon Rondo, Danny Green. Really good Lakers roster, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee. I mean, a lot of good players on that, and he had his time. He had his rotation. He had his minutes, and as I mentioned, former NBA champion. He's been there. He knows this moment. That's a boost to the Thunder's bench, most definitely. And you have to go to Shai. You know Shai's your number one. If Shai's not clicking, if the pressure of the finals is getting to him, because again, young team, you have to be able to rely on one of Chet or Jalen as your number two to step up for a little bit till Shai gets back into it. Pacers, I'm not sure what their defense is going to be, but Rick Carlisle is a very smart coach. I mentioned a couple of things they could do, something to watch out for, to not really maybe do. But you know what, Carlisle's looked this over and he's going to have this plan. He's had amazing game planning against every one of his opponents, against Milwaukee, against Cleveland, against New York. Rick Carlisle's had great game planning. I'm not sure, not saying he can't, but I'm not sure Mark Daigneault's had to game plan as hard as Rick Carlisle's had throughout much of the playoffs. And it may come down to coaching two really good teams. And if so, I most definitely give the edge on that spot to the Indiana Pacers. But player-wise, young, talented, MVP, roster-wise, I'm giving the boost to Oklahoma. And just Oklahoma's defense has been just amazing this year. It's been hard to, at different times, even score on these guys. We've seen them hold teams scoreless for up to 3 to 4 minutes, which is very hard to do in an NBA game. But it's just like everyone's stepping up and doing their thing. They're doing what they're supposed to, playing their roles on the team. Anthony Edwards said it's like puppets. They're all on a string, and they all know what they're supposed to do. And hey, I mean, was somewhat of a little bit of a shot, it seemed like. But the fact is, they do all know what they're supposed to be doing, and they're doing it. They're doing it to the best of their ability, and it's winning them games. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. And predictions for this series, I'm going OKC in 5. I do think there's going to be some close games, but I almost want to say, in my opinion, I think Oklahoma's figured this out when they played Denver. When they went to 7 games against Denver, so far been their toughest series, and you were taking on possibly the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic, you figured this out. You won this in 7 games. Not only that, you won this going away with you in Game 7, and against possibly the best player on the planet, like I mentioned. And it almost seems to me like from that moment on, the Norths went away. Mind you, I didn't see many Norths at all in the conference finals. Be interesting to see if there's more Norths in the NBA finals. But I think from coaching and watching and looking at film, you have to know you can't have those against this Pacers team because they won't. So you almost have to be a step ahead mentally. You have to block everything out, and you have to play it like you've been playing all year. It has to be physical. It has to be tough. You have to grind it out. You're not going to run away with these games more than likely. And you just have to do the best you can to get down to that end and just hope your MVP SGA can outdo who's maybe been the clutchest in the playoffs so far, Tyrese Halliburton. If you do that, I think OKC wins in 5. Maybe even with the talent on their roster, maybe it's a 8-9 point game towards the final couple minutes, and you just don't let the Pacers back in it like teams like Cleveland, Milwaukee, and New York did. And it's just about closing teams out. Everybody's had a hard time closing out these Pacers, but I'm giving the edge to the Thunder, and I'm going OKC in 5. But I do see a way, in coaching and ability and just never giving up, I do see a way the Pacers push this to 6 or even win it. So I'm not necessarily saying it's over and OKC's the way better team and the Pacers don't deserve to be here. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I just see these games, a few of them going the Thunder's way, and then OKC pulling away with all their talent. But hey, don't be surprised if the Pacers, if they get that 4th game in OKC, That gives them a mental edge, a mental advantage. I'll be surprised if the Pacers aren't the NBA champions if that ends up happening. If they do what they did against New York and Cleveland and they take the first 2 away, you may be looking at the new NBA champions, the Indiana Pacers. Very interesting series coming up. Stay tuned, guys. Game 1 is Thursday. Before Thursday on Wednesday, we'll come on here with some of our way too early off-season forecasts. We'll do Milwaukee. We'll do let's do Milwaukee, Detroit. We have 2 in the same division. Then let's flip it over to Houston from the West. And we'll do the Lakers, Houston and LA. So we have Milwaukee, Detroit, Houston, and LA. We'll do that on Wednesday, so come check that episode out. Give a little insight on what I think is going to happen with Giannis and LeBron. It's going to be an interesting episode, so tune in. And thank you guys for watching.